Welcome back to Dudes and Dudes, and in this video we're going to a treasure museum. There be pirates here. Let's do it.
Today we are in the beautiful coastal town of Sebastian, Florida, and we're about to dive into a treasure trove of history at the McLarty Treasure Museum. This place is packed with incredible stories from the Spanish treasure fleet disaster. It's the greatest spot for history buffs and treasure hunters alike. We'll explore artifacts, hear tales of shipwrecks and salvages, and even take a stroll on the Vero Beach where it all happened. So grab your explorer's hat, hoist the Jolly Roger, and join us on this swashbuckling journey as we uncover the hidden gems of the McLarty Museum. Are you ready? Now bring me that horizon.
Arr!
McLarty Treasure Museum is located off of A1A in Sebastian on the Barrier Island. The cost is $2, and there's plenty of parking out front.
We are just right off of the A1A, and it's a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the, well, a couple clouds in the sky. You can see over here, you have the Indian River just across the street. People fishing, beautiful blue waters, citrus everywhere. Let's go inside and take a look. Birds flying around. You got sea grapes here. Protect the shoreline. Can't eat them, but they're here. Don't know what to expect here. Oh, there's a little trail over there. There's a parking lot on both sides. You can go around. They have handicap parking. Some nice palm trees right out front. I don't think this is a terribly large place, but I don't know. I've never been here. Let's check it out. Okay, our first stop today. Site of survivors and salvagers camp. Hurricane destroyed a fleet of 11, possibly 12 homeward bound merchant ships carrying cargo of gold and silver and other valuable items from American colonies to Spain. About 1,500 men, women, and children survived the disaster, reached the shore, made their camp along the Barrier Island near the place where the fleet's flagship had sunk. Wow. These auxiliaries gave protection and aid to the salvagers who used the campsite while working to recover valuable cargo from the sunken vessels. Archaeological work at the site revealed that salvagers seem to have erected a temporary structure for use as storehouses for recovered gold and silver. While salvage operations was in process, Henry Jennings, an English pirate, sailed to the site, drove off the guards, and seized a large quantity of the recovered coins, which he carried away to Port Royal, Jamaica. But the great majority of the treasure was safely regained and moved to Havana, Cuba by the Spanish salvagers. Great Steel Estate, Florida. Wow, pretty cool story. So the people who settled here, it looks like they had a freshwater well in the campsite, and this guy Kip Wagner introduced his this property was once, this area here has a freshwater well, and kind of tells why it's a settlement. It says Kip Wagner deduced this property was once a campsite when he witnessed his dog drink from a shallow well. Wow. One of two Spanish surface wells found on this property was simple as a bottomless open barrel sunk into the ground, and you can see it. This looks like it's the other one right there. So maybe they put fresh water in there from like the rivers or something. Pretty cool. Okay, this is my first step inside the museum. And, oh, there's like a little visitor's log. I'll have to sign that. Oh, got a new page. What's today? Today the 30th? May 31st. Almost in June already. First thing we have here is some recovered artifacts here. You have some porcelain cup base, Kang cup, looks like kind of Asian china. Whoa. Yeah, porcelain china. Whoa. And you always see like the cracked pieces that were just recovered from there. But man, sank to the ocean floor during a hurricane. This is that hurricane that they talk about for the Chinese emperor of the time. Wow. Glass bottleneck, remnant metal cap, Majolica bowl. Look at that. That's been kind of severed back together. Pretty awesome. It's also super clean, really, really well laid out. And I guess there's an outside piece as well. We'll see. I think we might have an archaeologist that's working here who will give us kind of an overview of everything, which is kind of cool because I haven't done so many interviews on this channel, but I think it would help kind of clarify some things because I just kind of babble and I'm not the expert. So we'll have the expert on here. Wow, they have a lot of artifacts here. So we got a handle to an earthenware jug, a Cowlin pipe. Wow, food sauce bottle. Cool. Probably had hot sauce from the islands. Tea or spice. Glazed plain rim. Miller plain. Wow. Oh, a hatchet. What? Metal pin. That is so cool. And a hammer. Look at that hammer. Very cool. Wow. Very impressed. I haven't even been in here for 5 minutes. This place has a lot. You can see behind me, this is all like the kind of artifacts that were recovered from the wreckage. It's a lot. They have daggers and pipes and jugs. Wow, I'm blown away. This is a small place, but it's really well done with the artifacts that they have. Look at these forged iron spikes. Wow. The metalwork that they did, even in this little settlement here from all these ships. Got a little boat showing the wreckage. They probably did some diving. Yep, got a diver there. Spanish pewter plate. Whoa, that's neat. Not much seawater corrosion. English pewter plate. Pewterware. Normally used by the middle class of the period and usually expensive for the working poor. It's a blessing in disguise to those who couldn't afford such fine tableware. That's neat. Great preservation. It's even got a, what's that, north? Is that like north as in like true north? You got some silver coins here. Looks like they were covered in some seawater sediment, rocks and stuff. It looks like this is coins from the 1715 fleet. Exquisite cluster of silver coins, occasionally found in clumps. Large fabric bag in which they had been shipped. Wow, just like the pirate days, you had a satchel. Oh, here's some gold. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful cross there. 24 karat. Oh, they're replicas. Okay. Wow, look at the China King Dynasty. Oh wow, another hammer. Looks like a chisel. Okay. Urca de Lima.
This is another shipwreck that sank in 1750 near Fort Pierce, just south of here.
Here you can see the trade routes kind of from Spain going down into the Caribbean. And you have in New Granada, Cartagena, which is modern-day Colombia. Looks like they went right up to St. Augustine. They went through Mexico, and then they had a Pacific route from Acapulco all the way around to the Philippines and then back. It's kind of like what you think of when you see pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean, pirates of the Pacific, South China Sea, all that. Pretty cool. So you don't think about it, but back then, you think about a ship sailing across the Pacific without like a motor. So they would use sails and they would use rows. But the sea destroys everything, right? So they actually had a blacksmith on board with a coal-fired forge, and they would make, I don't know if you can see it. Is it over here? Yeah, right there. They would make the spikes for the planks on board and other things they would use it for. It's really neat. And the local artist maybe. And then this was donated. It looks like a saddle of a horse. Donated by George and Joyce Scott. You can see the stirrups kind of fit right in there. Pretty neat. You also have a shipwreck ballast pipe, which is kind of cool. You got some more fasteners, some spikes. Kind of shows where it was recovered from. A Spanish olive jar. Pretty cool. we've made it outside. We're here with Corey Kirkala. He is like the Park Service archaeologist for the area and the museum. He's kind of an expert on everything, so we're gonna just get a quick intro from Corey about the museum, and he's gonna give us some facts and stuff like that. So welcome, Corey.
Hi guys, welcome to the McLarty Treasure Museum. This is a passion of mine. I am an archaeologist who's actually born and raised here in Sebastian, and so getting to run this is kind of a dream come true for me. We're writing books about it, me and another co-author right now, and it's at home and it's beautiful, and I'm sure you've been enjoying some of the b-roll, and if you haven't, you will enjoy it. So make sure you follow along all the way to the end of this video because there's so much for you to learn. I love this museum. I love the story. I feel like the wrecks in 1715 had such a profound impact on the trajectory of world economics and world political things, and then you've got the pirates coming, and they raided essentially right here where I'm standing on this beautiful barrier island, and that changed the world again. And so a lot of our democratic principles kind of owe itself to what happened here back in 1715 and 1716. So you've happened upon a really, really awesome chapter in history, and I can't wait to help share that with you, and hope you guys are having fun. Like and subscribe and all that stuff, you know, it's always good for YouTubers.
So who was Kip?
Kip Wagner was the gentleman he was a contractor, and he was the first one to start to really dig into why they're finding coins. So the story's a lot more long and drawn out to that, but he started to have an interest in it. He started to try to do some really rudimentary salvaging. Eventually he brought in a bunch of his friends from up in Cape Canaveral, mostly military and early NASA guys. They developed some cool technology. They started to find things, but they had to do it like part-time because they had real jobs, and sometimes this isn't quite as lucrative as you think it is. So he brought along a new assistant, and the assistant really changed the world of treasure hunting because that was Mel Fisher, and we have a Mel Fisher Museum right across the river. I'm not sure if you guys are checking that out on this episode, but if you do, it's a really awesome place to see a whole lot of the treasure. If you're coming here, come here first. We teach you a little bit better usually, but I love them, and it's a great place to see some bling. And Mel Fisher, if you don't know about Mel Fisher, check out some Key West videos, because that guy has found so much gold. I met him. I have a coin that I bought from him. It's not my only coin. I'm going to share with you my only coin here in just a minute. But the stories here on the Treasure Coast are something that people just underestimate. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to visit.
Thank you, Corey. It's definitely a beautiful place. There's an outside portion here. You can see the beautiful blue waters of the Treasure Coast. And what else could you love more than pirates? So this is the area where Kip would have probably found the cannon, and then he partnered. The first attempt was a failure, but after that he was able to get a professional crew to come out and dive and find the pieces of 8 and the treasure chest. It probably was scattered all throughout this area because of the time and the currents and the tides. These beaches get shaped over time, so think about 300 years ago. What's a pirate's favorite letter? R. Place is awesome. Really enjoying my time here. Like Corey said, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. New videos each and every week. And hit that thumbs up and comment below. Have you been here? Walking through the sea grapes. I think these are sea grapes. If not, they're mangroves. I don't see any grapes, but helps the erosion. They also have a movie here you can watch.
So he started to research shipwrecks from that time frame. He did discover that a 1715 Spanish fleet allegedly perished in the Keys, and this was a long way from the Florida Keys. And he consulted.
Corey's here to show us some other real artifacts. Actually real, not replicas.
Yeah, so it's the opposite of true, actually. I do have some replicas with me, but I do want to talk about these really quick. So the first four here, that ring and the little like manicure set, those are all real. And these are 24 karat gold, but they're replicas. And I tell people that if you're coming to the beach, you're hardly ever going to recognize the things that you find, and because they all get encrusted in this kind of thing. But with gold, because it is a noble metal, it doesn't get encrusted. So you're going to find it looking like it did when it went into the water, minus a little bit of like abrasions and stuff like that. So always on the Treasure Coast, it doesn't matter what beach you're on, because these ships, they spread out their treasure everywhere. Always look for gold on the Treasure Coast, all right? But gold would come in a couple of different ways, and so I wanted to teach you guys that real quick with 3 replicas of gold. They're all fake, all really bad fakes, but there you go. So with gold, there were 3 different ways essentially that it came over mostly, all right? So you had coins. This is a replica of the most expensive and nicest coin that's been found on our ships, which would value at over $500 million today. It's called a Royale. And so these coins can go anywhere from like $2,000 for a small one that's not that nice to over $500,000. So if you find them, you're probably pretty excited.
Whoa.
So, but this was coming back and it was going to stay with the state. So there were 2 other ways if you had your own gold that you could bring it back. And so one of them is like the good boy way. The other one is you can be kind of a good boy, but it's the smart way, all right?
Nice.
So on these gold finger bars, which is how most of the gold would come over at this time, there are stamps. And on the stamps, there's one that has Dos Equis, and that is where they got the name. So the 2 X's means you paid
so
your
interesting.
taxes. So you got 20% tax that had to go to them. And then the other stamps, a lot of them would have to do with your church affiliation and whether you tithed or not. So when you came back with this, you gave away at least 30% of it. And then, but nobody could touch this except for a thief who might steal it or whatever. So you could bring it back that way. Now, I love the government. I work for the government. I'll pay my taxes. But if you give me a way to not pay my taxes legally, I'm going to do it. And so in the movie here, you're going to hear about a 14-foot gold chain. And you're going to think everybody wanted to look like Mr. T or something and pity the fool and all that good stuff. But the truth of the matter was it would cost you about 5% of what the cost of the gold is to have a jeweler make yourself a 15-foot gold money chain. And you'd bring it home. And anytime you wanted to buy your drink or your groceries or whatever, you could just trim little tiny pieces off of your gold money chain. And so smart money comes back in jewelry. There's actually some places still that you can buy jewelry there and bring it back without taxes. So there's my tax advice for the day.
Okay, we're here by this, there's a bunch of artifacts here. One that I want to highlight is this bell, and it is stunning looking. It looks like it's got some corrosive, maybe it was copper. I don't know, we're going to learn about it right now.
So it's actually a very low quality silver with a lot of different impurities in it, and some of them are copper, and that's why you're getting the verdigris here. But this is the most important of all of our artifacts, arguably, because this is what everybody's looking for. You want to find something that's really identifiable, and this says, "To God be the glory" around it. It has a date of 1705, and so that sounds awesome, like we're going to be able to identify one of the ships. The problem is it was found between 2 ships that it could have been. And we know which 2 bells it was probably. There was a ship's bell that was owned by Captain Ubia, who was the head captain of the whole entire fleet. And so many of us think it's that. Also was a low quality silver bell that was being brought to Sevilla to go in the monastery. So the funny part is it was found in the middle, and even if we knew which bell it was, we'd still have a mystery on our hands.
Some more pottery here and some conch shells. Using it for bowls. Wow, I would eat out of that. I would eat out of that for sure. Oysters and clams, local fare to eat. some Indians from the area, the AIS. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oz. Paleo hunters. Wow. 5 to 10,000 years before the A's. Kind of a depiction there.
15. A severe hurricane sank 11 Spanish treasure ships along the east coast of Florida. Remnants of these ships are still being found from Cape Canaveral southward to St. Lucie Inlet. This treasure fleet, like many before, was transporting riches of the New World back to Spain. The acquisition of these riches was largely responsible for Spain's rise to world power. The story of this treasure fleet originates with the royal decree of King Philip V in the year 1712. 2 fleets were dispatched to the New World. One fleet, the galleons, sailed to present-day South America, where they loaded gold and silver that had been transported from as far away as present-day Bolivia.
And finally, we have a beautiful cannon that we're going to learn about.
So this cannon is actually historically significant, we believe. It was for sure on our shipwreck, which happened about 300 yards off of the observation deck to the south. All right? And then, instead of staying with the wreckage where all of its brothers and sisters were, except for 3, for some reason, it was found 150 yards north of here. And it was kind of in a line, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. And we didn't think we knew what it was. Most people just thought part of the ship floated over there. But there's apparently a documentation that says that when Henry Jennings raided here, there were 4 cannons on the beach. So now we believe we'd be able to pinpoint the area where the classic age of piracy actually started, and it's just in our backyard.
Really, I mean, this thing is in prestige condition. Super well looking cannon.
The other 3 are still out there, but it actually costs more to restore a cannon than you can sell it for. So it's just going to stay there until somebody needs it for a museum.
Absolutely gorgeous, guys. You got to come see this. Okay, we're outside here, and I'm going to learn a little bit about the Green Cabin Room.
Yeah, so the Green Cabin, which is a bar/restaurant at Disney Resort where Dan is staying, actually is related to the Treasure Coast very, very well. And I want to tell the story because nobody really tells this story. It's like the lesser cousin of the 1715 fleet wreck. But back in the early 1600s, there were still ships coming through here, and there were still hurricanes and still storms. And so one of the wrecks along the coast actually was from that time period. And it wrecked in an area where someone had built a small green cabin. And so a lot of these things are like the cabin wreck and the cannon piles wreck and the this wreck and the that wreck. It's actually named after whatever they could see when they were out working the wreck. So that little green cabin, which is no longer there, marked that wreck. But like everything in the Treasure Coast, it makes you like really get your imagination going. And when you're walking that beach out there, I actually found a coin on that beach. So I'm going to give a little bit of a like sarcastic nod to one of our celebrity metal detectors here. If any of you guys watch The Curse of Oak Island, he's a good friend of mine. His name is Gary Drayton, and he always says, "Oh, I got me a Bobby Dazzler here, and I got me a top pocket find," and so I got this in my top pocket. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. I don't think Dan's got viewership of The Curse of Oak Island, so we're not going to be able to get 15 minutes out of a $5 coin. So here, hold on. I got a $200 coin, which isn't even really that much for here, but it's special to me.
Oh, wow.
I found this on the Green Cabin beach.
I'm going to put it in the light here.
Okay. I found this actually on top of the sand. It was a lot dirtier than on the beach right there off of Disney Resort back when I was 22 years old. It was a little bit easier back then because we didn't have quite as much sand, but you can see the cross in here.
Oh yeah.
You can also see that it eroded. It only weighs about 60% of what it is. You have to look really close. I'll do a little bit of light exchange here so you can kind of see the different detail back here in the back of the coin. But it used to be that we could find these all the time, and so the old timers even talk about skipping them along the stone. You know, you get a little rock on top of it, you think it's a rock, you skip it around. But there really is still treasure to be found out there. There's even still sometimes our salvagers out there. So when you're there and you see this beautiful model of a ship, or you're going in to have a rum drink, because if you're going to be on the Treasure Coast and somewhere that pirates were, you probably should have a rum drink if you partake, no pressure or anything. But it's really cool.
Wow. Can I hold it?
Yeah, of course you can.
Wow. All right, I need to go and get myself a, what do they call it, a hurricane or a rum punch, as they say in the islands, in the Spice Islands. Wow, that's beautiful. And it's got a little bit of weight to it. I mean, it's kind of half a coin, but wow, beautiful. Wow, and the etchings, so cool. It's not like our stuff today, you know, these things are all made by hand pretty much.
Imagine stepping back in time to the early 18th century, where the salty breeze whispers tales of daring pirates and sunken treasure ships, uncovering gleaming gold coins, ancient artifacts, and fascinating stories of brave soldiers and cunning privateers. This is a place where history comes alive, and you can almost hear the echo of cannon fire and creak of wooden ships in the wind.
If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, hit a thumbs up. Comment below, let me know what you thought of this video. McLarty Museum. I was super impressed with this place. This was way more than I expected, and a great stop. You can definitely spend a couple of hours reading through everything, and watching the movie was about 40 minutes. And even the archaeologist here, Corey, he knew so much, and I appreciate having him kind of tour us around. We haven't really seen that on the video, but there's a first time for everything. So I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, this was definitely a fantastic day at the museum, and we will be back. We'll come back. It's so close to Disney. We come here every year, so we'll come back and check out all the artifacts. We bought a couple of turtles, and the backdrop of this is just gorgeous. You have the ocean on one side, you have the Indian River on the other side, and I'm gonna leave you with this. Not all treasure is silver and gold, mate. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, dudes.